let's ask ourselves, why are we so obsessed with Judge Kavanaugh and Bill Cosby? Why do we even mention them in the same breath? You know, people have. You know, if we're mad at Bill Cosby, we should be mad at Judge Kavanaugh. And that's because we're not looking at them as individual cases. We're looking at them as archetypes. To some people, these individuals are kind of instances of a more general class of predator, the patriarch. And therefore they are, even if they're innocent, guilty. And so therefore you can say that since they share a common origin, that Judge Kavanaugh is in some sense inextricably polluted or unavoidably polluted by people like Bill Cosby, but it's a little more complex than that, I think. That's my opinion, at least, that it's a little more complicated than that. And the reason is that there's another archetype that has been present through history. And you can verify this for yourself by thinking back to people you actually know, your friends, people you've met, people you've heard about, history, instances in history that tell us that Cosby can't possibly be every man. He is one and the same time the non-everyman, the sort of person that the male of the species, properly understood, doesn't want to be like. And if you look at the long progress from barbarism, we can't understand that process without realizing that not everybody's a predator. Otherwise, the world wouldn't be the way it was. There's two ways to be surprised by the human race. One way is to be surprised by the evil, and there's no shortage of evil in this world. It's easier in many ways to believe in the devil than it is to believe in miracles. But you find miracles in the most unlikely places. I remember being in a nursing home visiting someone and running into a neighbor, a former neighbor, who was taking care of her husband. She and her children had, for years, taken turns visiting her husband, who had had a stroke some years before, and he was totally unable to, he was basically unable to eat without assistance. So they had a kind of tube arrangement, and they came to him every day and bathed him and dressed him up and combed his hair. And so she said to me, well, you know, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm visiting someone. And she says, well, come and see your old neighbor. And I saw him and I said hello to him. And she bent down and said, how handsome you are, to her broken husband. And he smiled. And she'd been doing this for years. And men do this for years. There was a couple I met the other day who had taken care of their paralyzed son for 20 years. So not everyone's like Bill Cosby, otherwise the world wouldn't be the way it is. So when we think about the human race, it's like everything else, a package. Life comes with death, and night comes with the morning. And we have to say, this is how it is. It's a package, and it's not as simple as we think. So we should differentiate between the statistical and the particular. You can accept the fact that women have been treated badly through history without asserting that every man, every particular man, is guilty. People can be innocent in a given time or place. In fact, it's absolutely necessary to recognize innocence, otherwise there's no point in fighting evil. For if you cannot be innocent by choosing something else, then not only are you not free, but you're doomed, and no one is doomed.